Hey, it's Empress Rose and welcome to my channel. This is our collective reading. It's a general reading. Take what works, leave what doesn't. And any interaction with the channel is really helpful, really fabulous, and I am so grateful for them. All right, we're starting off with Moonology. Thank you, Moonology. I appreciate the vote of confidence here. Oh dear. Okay. Well, in a little bit of reversal of Empress Rose policy, the ones on the floor are actually going to be discarded today. That's very interesting because there's too many of them, and we're going to just take the ones on the table, which is interesting too. It's very interesting, actually. This is all very suddenly self-referential, or the reading is referencing itself, which is self-referential, but I meant self-referential from the perspective of the reading. So you are good enough, full moon in Virgo. So don't doubt yourself. A lot of things happen to us. A lot of things come at us. A lot of things work out and don't work out. And for the things that do work out, you are good enough. For the things that don't work out, this is clearly saying that it's not really necessarily all about you and what works and what you did. So there is something here. It's just trying to reassure you. You are enough. Don't nitpick yourself. Don't nitpick a situation. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of good. Yeah, you're good enough. So, and then a fiery climax approaches, which is really funny because all of these cards went all over the floor. And then because of the explosiveness that happened when this card came out, this card landed on the table and the rest of them landed on the floor. So that explosiveness sort of reversed my sort of my readings, how I usually do things, right? Because usually I take them off the floor, they're significant, but there were so many on the floor I couldn't take them. But what it seemed to do was almost literally underline this card right here, the fiery climax approaches. So something very exciting is coming, and you know what? You're good enough. You can handle it. I love a full moon in Aries. Oh my gosh, it's full moon in Aries, you guys. We just had a full moon in Aries like 2 days ago. Very exciting. And it could relate to something that went on during that. Wow. But super exciting. You can handle it. You can handle this. Full moon, oh my gosh. A lot's going to be revealed in these full moons. There's a very exciting energy. And I think you just need to approach it with a lot of confidence in yourself. So whether it's and it's interesting because neither of these cards are really giving me like, are you going to love this scenario? Are you going to hate this scenario? Right? Because a fiery climax approaches, that can be a lot of different things. It can be a lot, that can go a lot of different ways. It can be exciting good. It can be exciting not good. And you're good enough, you know, that could relate to a huge opportunity, an exciting opportunity that comes your way. And the tarot wants you to, the cards want to build you up a little bit. They want to, yeah, what do you call that? Hype you up a little bit and make sure that you're feeling confident going into this exciting scenario. But it can also be something a little difficult, and it's like, but you're good enough. Like, don't let this shake you. So far, it's just something exciting happening, and you're being asked to really sink into a foundation of self-confidence. Okay, that one I'll take off the floor because it's just one. All right, from the Oracle of Mystical Moments, Lullaby. This is fascinating too, because here we have this, what feels like an external extroverted card. Here we have this inner card of quietness. So in a way, I mean, they're both like very sort of shut down, very sort of quiet, very sort of internally focused in these. Both of them have something on their mind. And the full moon in Virgo and Lullaby, there's a very strong sense of a masculine feminine energy pairing here. And just because the top hat and the flowers in the hair just really, really symbols of, the clothing of men and the clothing of women, and the very clear, almost gendered dynamic there. And then there's also this like quietness. Both of them have like a really, and a strong sense of not paying attention to the external world, even though this fiery climax approaches. And it's almost like you're approaching something very dynamic in your life, but there's a meditative foundation there. You're finding your calm in the midst of chaos. You're finding your calm there. And lullaby is a lot about vibing with yourself, just really focusing in on yourself. Maybe a lot of exciting things have happened in your life. Maybe more exciting things are to come, or more dynamic things are to come. And in that space in between, we're settling in, we're settling down, we're releasing the built up energy of being in these, dynamic flows. I'm thinking of a river, and we've had a big waterfall, and then there's a nice little flow. We're not in the rapids, but we're collecting ourselves as we approach these rapids, as we approach something. And you may know exactly what this is coming up. It may be on your calendar. You may not know what's coming up, but there's a sense of we're sort of, it's just a slow moving river right now. Maybe even in a reservoir a little bit of being held back. I mean, the fiery climax approaches, a new waterfall is coming. But in this space, we're solidifying our sense of self. And these are both about a sense of self and really getting in touch with that and grounding through that. And he's not playing the music because he's listening to the music inside of himself. Both of them have their eyes closed, which to me is just such a symbolism of introversion. We're paying attention to what's inside here. Both of them have, the sight is shut down. You're not paying attention to what's out there. And there's listening. There's a lot of listening and self-soothing going on here. Yeah, there's self-soothing going on here. There's a pause in the action. And it's a pause, and it's time to collect yourself and sort of reconnect with yourself and reconnect with your own sense of self-worth. I mean, it's really helpful when other people are supportive of that and help build us up. But at the core of that, we can only be built up so as far as we can sustain it, as far as we've built up our own selves, right? We can only, it's like the idea of like your cup. If your cup is this big, then people can pour gallons of love and appreciation into it, but you'll only ever be able to hold this much. So it may never feel like enough, even though people are pouring it in. So your job is to expand and push out your ability to accept love, your sense of self, your self-esteem, not ego, but your self-esteem. And you fill that up, and that's what stretches it and grows it, so that when other people do pour into it, it actually has some place to go and actually affects you. So it's a concept we've talked about on this channel since the beginning of it, but I hadn't reviewed it in a minute. All right, and then now we're back to Fire Breathing Bears deck, which I missed last week, and I was like, okay, well, let's keep playing with this one. And so this is interesting. This is like a redo to like 3 weeks ago when I first used this deck on this channel. We have the Fool, right? That's the same card in the same position from 3 weeks ago. Starting out on a journey, something you've begun, something you've already begun, a little risky, a little foolhardy. You're looking for help, you're looking for companions, you're looking for someone to, you're ready for adventure. I like how, got your thumb out. You're like, I'm ready. I'm ready, life, come pick me up. I'm ready for the next thing. I'm not really packed. I'll pack more. Like there's such a haphazard hitchhiker who's like, his stuff's not even in his backpack, but he'll grab it and put it in as soon as it's ready to go. He's just not like, you just got to see what the situation is. Oh, because this place, a little too much has happened here. I love these volcanoes in the background, and they have these little steam things, and they remind me of like imaginings, just the way that this artist does the clouds. There's like some imagining of what could happen, but a new adventure. Interesting. It's talking to me personally. I'm not going to talk about it though. All right. Yeah, this place is, yeah, you're ready for the next adventure. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. All right. In the environment, we have messenger of earth. It's reminding me of the Virgo card here. Messenger of earth is, the messengers, obviously, as the name implies, are usually quite talkative. They're the knights. They're the throat chakra. They're the talkator. But the messenger of earth, the full moon in Virgo, an earth sign, that is a planner. It's a planter here. Someone who plants seeds. This is the one, each of the different cards, like ace, 2, 3, 4, they all have one that sort of goes against the grain typically. And this is the card here. It's not the throat chakra, it's the doer, it's the planner, it's the doer, it's the planter. Focused on work, focused on that. There's someone, not a talkative coworker, a very quiet coworker that gets shit done, but isn't talking the whole time. Yeah, there are, big talkers and bark worse than bite people, and people that, and we need that. I am probably more of a big talker too, or not a big talker, but and so we need the inspiring people, the people that bring the messages, the people that are communicating and connecting other people and all of that. This is not that person. This person's off in their office, in their workshop, working away. They're out on it's a very grounded energy, and it's a very nose to the grindstone, get things done. So there's somebody here in the recent past. It could be you, it could be somebody else. Hopefully you'll know, that's just had a nose to the grindstone, kind of is very focused on their work and very focused on getting things done. Not so much focused on talking to everybody else about it, but just really focused on their work. What are they here to do? What are they accomplishing? What are they meant to do? And maybe even a little bit of a hyper focus. Like you can talk to them and they'll just be like, because they're very focused on getting something, completing a task or preparation. They're very focused on preparing for things. Yeah, not a lot of communication. It's very much this card too. It's just like this, right? They're both, again, head down, eyes down, focused. This is focused too. Focused internally. This is focused a little externally about the work that needs to be done. And then your current situation is 7 of arrows. Oh my God. Okay, now I am going to do this. There's some sort of, there's a little bit of sexuality to this card. And you can see it yourself or not, I don't care, but there's some sexual stuff in this card too. So 7 of arrows. Somebody's been hard at work, quietly working away at something. And this is sneaky behavior, tricky behavior. I think we had this one before. While you're not paying attention, something else is happening. Somebody's been working away, planning something, getting something ready, preparing something, very focused, not talking about it. And 7 of arrows is, again, not talking about it, just getting it done without talking about it. Because Seven of Arrows, to me, the arrows are communication and all of that. And Seven of Arrows, someone's sneaking off and being very clever and very smart with the communication. So it's often a conflict avoidance card, no direct conflict, not arguing, just getting away. It's often slip out the back, Jack, get a new plan, Stan. It's somebody that's just not, there's not a discussion going on here. They're not talking about it. They're being very sneaky. So you may have a new project that you've been working on in the background that you've been very quiet about, not really talking about it, not telling everybody about it, but being a little bit quiet and sneaky about it. Seven of Arrows can also be a lying card, but I just see a cleverness in keeping quiet. And, you know, right, and this messenger of earth, the Seven of Arrows, this full moon in Virgo, this lullaby card, all of that is about this introverted quietness and paying more attention to what's going on with you and what you're doing on and what you're working on than what's going on out there. Not necessarily telling every Tom, Dick, and Harry about what you're doing. And which is great. Like some people say, like, tell people what you're doing and what your plan is so that they can hold you accountable. That doesn't really work for me. And so other people are like, keep your plans private, don't tell everybody. So this is more of a keep your plans private, don't tell everybody. Because to me, what I've noticed is when I do tell people in a way, like there's like half the payoff or whatever, you know, like, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm planning to do this. And then, well, you already kind of got something out of it. So it almost takes the fire out under your ass. Does that make sense? I don't know. It can take the wind out of the sails of a project. Inner landscape, the star, hopeful. It's hope and reasons for hope. And maybe you want more hope. Maybe you're struggling to maintain hope. You've been working away at something, you're not really talking about it, and something about that may create a need for hope, a hope for hope. You're looking for reasons to be hopeful about something. Maybe you're even worried about hope too. Like, is it foolish to have hope in this? Again, all of this seems to relate back to you are good enough. This full moon in Virgo card, when all is said and done, you've got what it takes. But the star card is looking to me like you might be having some doubts. Is this foolish hope? Is this ridiculous? But there's the star card wanting to have hope, and maybe there's been some sneaky behavior. Well, you either don't know about it or you're the one engaging in it, or a little bit of both, right? Kind of looks like you're engaging about it. We're going to talk about this, the externals in a minute, but there's some sort of wanting to have hope about something. So that must mean your hope is a little bit wavering. You could be working on something, having doubts about something, and really looking, you are looking for reasons to have hope about something. And maybe you haven't heard back from anything. Maybe you've done the work. Yeah, you've put in the work for something. And there's a sense of not like, well, where is this? It just feels like the work isn't producing. Or you're communicating and you're not hearing back. You're putting stuff out there and not hearing back. And maybe it's like almost like somebody's seems to be taking the idea and going with it, and you're not hearing back. And you're like, hey, what about this? And they're just like, oh yes, it's a good idea. It just seems like silence, no communication, difficult communication, difficulty getting through and connecting. There's no direct conversation going on here. And then we have the monster card in reverse. So this is, forget what this is, but to me, I know it's not strength in this deck, but to me it is like, oh my god, this deck. Guys, I'm not sure I can use this deck. I'm looking ahead and it's just like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to like, I don't know how to blur that out. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, so the monster. So this is like, again, we have like this imagination cloud. Like his clouds are all very similar, and I love it because they start relating to each other. But there's untamed. There's something that's untamed, because when I see the monster in the upright, he's been tamed. He's been taught how to hold his arms down, how to not be scary. And like this, though, in the reverse, we almost have like the hands are up. The something is both scary and not as scary. It's both frightening and not frightening. It's the monster in reverse could be really something, yeah, something really scary. And that's why maybe, but you don't talk about it. You don't talk about it. But we have this soothing lullaby, soothing the scaries. Yeah, the something feels a little out of control, maybe, or has been a little out of control. And how does it relate to this new beginning, this reverse monster? Maybe you've been released of a demon, exorcised a demon from you, or that's what's happening, is something that's bugged you or been under your skin, or been a problem for you is becoming less of a problem. It's becoming less of an issue. Yeah, that's what I'm saying with monster reverse, is like the monster's being put to bed. And maybe it's some sort of internal monster of fears and anxieties and all of that. You guys, this reading, though, a fiery climax approaches. I just want you to keep this in your mind as we proceed forward. So maybe something's sort of been put on. It's just tamed. Something feels a little tamed, a little domesticated. And maybe that's bothering you. Maybe you're ready for adventure. Fears being soothed a bit. And then in your environment, you have the conductor. This is the emperor, the boss's boss. The boss's boss is out here moving things around, the muscle, the brains, the imagination, the leader of it all. You can be first chair all you want. You're not the conductor. The conductor is the conductor. It's interesting. I was just talking about conductors the other day, as far as like, you know, my musculature being the orchestra. No, not my my bones being the orchestra, and my like nervous system and musculature being the conductor, moving this orchestra around, getting it to do the things. Still, the orchestra needs to be all doing its thing. But if the conductor's bad, your orchestra's not, you know, functioning at top condition here. So the conductor here is yeah, the boss's boss. That's all I can really say. There's a big boss energy, right to rule. They have the little conductor, and you better listen to the boss. You have to listen to the boss, or you're out of the orchestra. Anyway, there's a boss here that's like got to coordinate a lot of people, a lot of things, and the boss is also under pressure. All eyes are on the boss, and literally the boss's butt out here. We can all see, you know, because they have to have their back to the audience, and so they are being viewed in a 360 view. It's completely like everybody's watching them too. So it's not like they're not under pressure. They're under, we see these people in power above us, bosses, 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 and oh, wouldn't that be nice? But the truth is there's a lot of pressure there, and they're under scrutiny, or should be, much of the time. And they actually have quite a big job to do. So this is a conductor, I want to say a director, a producer, somebody way up here. So, and then we have, I don't know how to deal with this card. It's 9 of flowers, 9 of cups, very happy. 9 of cups is very happy by yourself. So YouTube's just gonna, I don't have that big of a channel, so we're just gonna give you a little idea of what could be going on here. And not the whole idea. Anyway, you're supposed to be very happy by yourself, with yourself. It's this card basically, and it's this card, being very happy with yourself. And then we have Fiery Climax approaches. So you're being very happy with yourself. You are providing yourself with a happy ending here. And yeah, your 9 of flowers is like, be pleased with yourself, be happy, you've done something. But 9 of flowers often too, there's other decks that are coming to mind where people meditating and stuff like that, and really reaching a sense of enlightenment. And so just this meditative vibe we have in here, and this sense of enlightenment, and just being happy with yourself. There can be wish fulfillment. It's covered in roses. It's like, it's just a very self-love, a deep self-love. That's what you're working on. That's your to-do, is your to-do list, is self-love. In whatever manner that occurs to you, there's some self-love here, and being really happy with yourself and with who you are, and enjoying that. Yeah, being really happy with yourself, because here's what comes next. I'm so glad these are pretty abstract here. But the Lover's card comes next, and then you're happy with yourself, and then you bring that happiness into choices and decisions that are coming for you in the future, that are coming to you, coming with you in the future. So you're bringing that all into this decision-making process. Your self-love is going to help you love others, and love your life, and love decisions that you make. So the Lovers is typically like going with what you love, right? The love fuels your movement forward, going towards what you love, rather than reacting in fear to situations. We're using love as our fuel. Like, what kind of fuel did you put in your tank of life? Is it love, or is it fear? And so you're being called to work really hard on your, it's like middle school up here in my brain. You're being called to work really hard on your self-love and your happiness, and then bringing that into decisions that you make, and coming from a place of love and appreciation for yourself. So you do need to be building up your confidence and your love of self as you move forward. That's going to be incredibly important with decision points that are coming towards you, of how you can best love yourself and appreciate yourself. And somehow this has to do with some beautiful new journey you have recently begun. How I usually like do these decks, I'll take a picture and then put the little announcement, of this is a tarot reading, it's about this, on top of it. I'm not sure I can do that with these cards. Maybe I'll do a little, I don't know, we'll see. So, wow, quite a Fiery Climax approaches. I wonder if it was like talking about literally the cards that were going to come out in the order that they were going to come out in. Yeah, this is definitely about make love, not war here. So, all right. The goddess that rules this situation, the goddess whose energy you want to embody in the situation. Oh, yes. Okay. Direction. Sometimes this is day to day, but I'm getting this like the conductor is giving you directions. You're getting directions. You have a place in which you're headed. Clarity comes in here about next steps. Where are you headed here? What's going on? A sense of direction. I want to look that up. Where did I put that? No, I can want to look that up all I want. Oh, here it is. All right. So, Wari Pranili, Indigenous Australian sun goddess, sparking hope and faith, direction, faith, hope, ritual, prayer, giving thanks, inner knowing, which we have a lot of here, healing habits, purpose. I feel like that's a little bit of what this is. So some sort of deep purpose and direction. Oh my gosh, you guys, purpose, goals, foresight, hindsight, communion with self, um this is very clear direction, you guys. Communion with self is all over here. And mindfulness. Okay. And then the energy you're bringing to this is crossroads, which is the lovers, Hecate. Making decisions and choices. Yeah. Maiden, mother, crone, big changes in life, and needing to make decisions about which direction to go in. Actually, we're going to look that one up because I think there's like a key word in there that I can't pull up right now. Choices, decisions, karmic crossroads, knowing yourself. A lot of biblical knowing of thyself here. Becoming whole, paths, acknowledging dark nights of the soul. So, yeah, so you are, I don't know, just really engaged with reality and decisions and the consequences of decisions. So it's almost like you are being offered a direction or an erection, but you're being offered a direction and you need to decide, and you're going to be deciding about what you're going to do with that. It's a turning point in something. All right, and then a little mantra here. All right. Ooh, parrot spirit, watch your words. So make sure you're just not repeating something, or you think about what you're saying and you're not just repeating things that you've heard or that watch your self-talk. Watch your self-talk and make sure your self-talk is based on this highest sense of direction, this highest sense of are aspirational. Make sure your self-talk's aspirational, because sometimes we always pick up our self-talk from our parents. We have their voice in our head going over and over and over again, in that certain way, in that certain tone they had, and if you can at all figure out a way to replace even half of it, if it wasn't good, if it wasn't great, and you can find a way to replace it, it's often what a good therapist can do is give you a new voice to listen to that comes in, and you're like, oh, is this do I really need to feel this way, or is that true, or whatever, just new mantras. So being very aware of your words, and also watching your communication with other people. And I think watching your words also comes up with you are good enough, right? So watch your words. And I would say watch your mantras, because we all have mantras going on in our heads all the time, and just being conscious of and conscientious with the mantras that you choose. So replacing, we're all going to have these repetitive thoughts. So really looking at those, and maybe even just the first step usually is just observing what is the mantra going on here, and then trying to, you can always adopt a new one. Just don't even deal with it once you realize it. Don't even deal with it. Just get a new one. Put it in there. And Bobcat Spirit, life is a mystery. I love this too, because there's so much acceptance of the unknown and being comfortable, becoming more comfortable with uncertainty and the unknown. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I think also in relation to a reading like this, I think what it also seems to say is there are parts of this reading that you're not going to understand until the moment at which it's time for you to understand. You know, we're trying to see in the future, we're trying to figure out what's coming up, how can I prepare? And this is sort of like, you can't really, like, you can kind of have some ideas, and like, how did this happen is what I'm hearing. How did this happen? But not in a bad way, but maybe in a, like, it's all kind of run. So something exciting has happened, and I don't think you're gonna know exactly how or why. Life's a mystery, and there's a lot about it, that we just need to accept, and I struggle with that. I want to know. Tell me what's coming next, and why, and how it's happening, and how I can prepare. And all right, well, I hope that this was helpful for you. I don't feel like we got a good mantra. I think we got, I mean, maybe you are good enough is the, although that's so like basic, but also it's pretty all encompassing. You know, you're extraordinary. We're going to get immediate bounce back from our, you know, I am extraordinary. We're going to get immediate bounce back if we're not there yet. Our subconscious is going to be like, what? Are you joking? You know, and so we have to, you are good enough is probably a good enough mantra. All right, let's just one more. See the big picture. All right, again, back to the big picture again from a couple weeks ago. All right, there's a bigger plan here. There's a much bigger plan. So, all right, work on yourself. Be happy with yourself. You got stuff coming up that's going to be really helpful for. All right, I hope this was helpful for you, and hopefully entertaining. Talk to you guys next time. Bye.